stop work on the Coastal GasLink pipeline. Near the beginning of 2019, there is a dispute between the company directing the construction of the Coastal GasLink pipeline, TC Energy, and the Wet'suwet'en, the latter demanding that the energy company not build the pipeline since it travels through their traditional lands. But what is the Coastal GasLink pipeline? Well, it's just one part of this massive $40 billion project by LNG Canada in which natural gas is moved from Dawson Creek, located in East BC, to Kitimat, located in West BC. The natural gas would then be liquefied in a facility before being shipped overseas. This does risk an oil spill, endangering wildlife in the area and possibly further polluting the ocean. In addition, this would also be another major contributor to climate change, as natural gas, a fossil fuel, would be extracted and used. Thus, a UN committee intervened, consisting of 18 experts and working to end racism. The committee requested that Canada stop their work on the three major energy projects currently underway: the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, the Sipsey Dam, and the Coastal GasLink pipeline. The committee asks that approval and informed consent is received from the Indigenous communities affected by the pipelines before proceeding with its construction. The UN committee was also concerned with the law enforcement's handling of the Indigenous peoples, forcibly removing, harassing, and intimidating them, which is simply unacceptable. LNG Canada, however, claimed that they've already received the approval and are moving forward with the construction, which is blatant misinformation. Not all First Nations people are in accordance with the construction of the pipeline. UNDRIP, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, requires that these resource products receive free, prior, and informed consent from Indigenous peoples affected by the construction of the pipeline, since it is a right of theirs. The committee asks that Canada ensures adequate consultation is taken to acquire the said level of consent, and that if such a level of consent is not received, such large-scale development projects, whether it is already in the process of being constructed or planned to be in the future, should immediately be stopped. Moving back to the Wet'suwet'en's opposition to the Coastal GasLink pipeline, the Wet'suwet'en have had to attempt to block the construction of the pipeline, as much of the 700-kilometer-long pipeline is going through their territory, though TC Energy claims all First Nations along the designated pipeline route are in accordance with its construction. However, the pipeline route was rejected by numerous hereditary chiefs who deemed the accordances inapplicable to their territories, demanding the company to leave the territory as they were trespassing. The Wet'suwet'en and their supporters have, to prevent access to their territory, set up camps to block pipeline workers. However, the pipeline company, having already asked the Supreme Court of Canada for permission to access these traditional lands, intended to continue construction of the pipeline within a week after their holiday break, though the traditional lands is not their property. Thus, the RCMP actually arrested 14 individuals from the Gidimt'en camp. This was nearly a year ago, however. Even now, though every single one of the elected band councils have signed agreements with the energy company, numerous hereditary chiefs continue to oppose it. Many argue the pipeline is even creating jobs for many Indigenous peoples. This, however, negates the hereditary chiefs' wishes, as aforementioned, though a benefits deal was already signed by the elected band council of the Wet'suwet'en. This calls attention to the debate between the hereditary chiefs and the elected band councils due to their opposing standings on the matter, calling into question the power each of the two sides possess under the laws of our nation. While band councils have control over their reserve land and were established by the government under the Indian Act, the hereditary chiefs are another more traditional form of governance. However, it can be argued that the land of the hereditary chiefs, their home, is simply being used without permission. The pipeline has many disastrous consequences on the environment as well. Aside from contributing to climate change, it is also very likely to have a leakage, and no matter how small it may be, the leakage may pollute our rivers and harm animals in the general vicinity. We as a nation pride ourselves in our clean bodies of water, our resources, and our land/animals, and it is thus our duty to protect them. These jobs that are supposedly created negate the fact that numerous jobs are being cut by the government as we speak to increase their profits. For example, 400 jobs are expected to be cut by the Suncor Energy Company as they intend to build a fleet of 150 driverless trucks. This will only continue as time goes by. Furthermore, these resources are not unlimited either. They will eventually run out. This land has also belonged to indigenous people long before the presence of settlers. Thus, if it is rightfully their land, why must it be used for this pipeline that will only cause more harm to the environment? It would almost seem as if the indigenous peoples are some of the only individuals who care about our nation's land and water. We took their land from them first, and now we're attempting to use their land without the consent of hereditary chiefs. It is evident that the construction of the pipeline should be stopped just based off these adverse consequences. It is essential we adhere to the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs' wishes as they rightfully oppose the construction of an environmentally damaging project.